In 1589, in a farming region of Germany, something betrayed the people who lived there. Not the law, not the church, not the walls meant to keep danger out. Something quieter. Night itself. People stopped locking their doors, not because they trusted their neighbors, but because several doors had already been forced open from the inside. Children vanished in daylight, not chased, not dragged. They stepped into open space and never returned. Women disappeared between one village path and the next, distances so short that witnesses later insisted they had seen them moments earlier. And when bodies were found, they weren't arranged like the dead. They were interrupted, limbs separated mid-motion, bones gnawed down to chalk, organs missing, not stolen, but used. One corpse could only be identified by a single shoe. The other foot was never found. No one cried out when it was discovered, because the sound that came out of the man who found it was not a scream. It was silence. This wasn't theft, not war, not madness anyone recognized. This was hunting. And in 1589, when people couldn't explain a predator, they didn't search for a man, they searched for a monster. They whispered one word: werewolf. And then, one night, the hunt ended, because the beast didn't flee. It stood up, and what stood there was a man they already knew. His name was Peter Stumpp, and what followed didn't just terrify Bedburg, it permanently damaged how Europe understood evil. A world that expected monsters. Bedburg was ordinary, fields cut by footpaths, livestock penned close to homes, children trained to work early and speak carefully. Life moved by bells, births, burials. But the late 1500s were years that trained fear. Germany was collapsing under religious wars that turned neighbors into enemies, failed harvests that taught hunger, patience, plague pits still warm beneath churchyards. People didn't trust each other. They didn't trust priests. They trusted patterns and signs. Every sermon warned of Satan. Every illness felt deliberate. Every unexplained sound after dark demanded a cause. So when animals were found torn open, not eaten, not butchered, but destroyed, people didn't ask what did this. They asked who let it out. The pattern no one spoke aloud. At first, each disappearance stood alone. A boy who didn't return from the fields, a girl sent to deliver bread who never arrived, a woman whose footsteps stopped halfway down a forest road. People invented explanations, until the explanations collapsed. Because patterns don't announce themselves. They accumulate. Victims were always vulnerable, always isolated, always near the boundary between safety and wilderness. Days later, remains surfaced, not buried, not hidden, found by accident. A torso without its head, a body opened with deliberate force, bite marks where knives should have been, and then, the moment the village stopped speaking normally, a pregnant woman. Her body was found torn apart, the child inside her, gone, not missing, not stolen, consumed. After that word spread, something broke. People stopped arguing, stopped questioning, because no one wanted to say what this meant, and everyone already knew. The nightmen lost control. Villagers armed themselves, not with courage, with panic. Men took spears they'd never trained with. Dogs were forced into forests they feared. Patrols moved through fog so thick it swallowed sound. They said they saw it, a wolf too large, movements too precise, pauses where no animal should pause. Its eyes, not wild, calculating. One night the hunters cornered it, branches shattered, dogs screamed, then stopped, and then nothing. They swore the wolf stood before them, and in the space between one heartbeat and the next, it wasn't there. Where it stood was a man, bent forward, chest heaving, clothes torn. His eyes did not look confused. They looked annoyed. A face they recognized, a farmer, a neighbor, Peter Stumpp. The man they had walked past for years. Peter Stumpp wasn't unknown. That was the error. He owned land, paid taxes, attended church. He stood among them every Sunday, but once his name was spoken, memory rearranged itself. Children who avoided his gaze without understanding why. Adults who felt unease and buried it under politeness. A man who followed rules too carefully and never reacted when others flinched. When he was arrested, no one shouted. No one defended him. One woman crossed herself. Another stepped back. Because deep down, they had already moved him out of the category of people. Whatever Peter Stumpp was, he no longer fit inside the word man. The confession that ended discussion. Under torture, Peter Stumpp confessed. Slowly, unevenly. He didn't scream. He explained. He claimed that at 12 years old, he surrendered himself to the devil. In return, he received a belt that allowed him to shed his skin, to become something else. As this creature, he admitted to years of killing, children, women, lives reduced to remains. He confessed to cannibalism, to incest, to acts so methodical that the room fell silent. One judge reportedly stopped taking notes. Not out of sympathy, out of fear. Whether these confessions were truth or shaped by pain, belief, and expectation no longer mattered, because once spoken, they solved everything. No investigation was needed. This wasn't a man, this was proof. A death meant to infect memory. Peter Stumpp wasn't sentenced to die. He was sentenced to be remembered correctly. He was tied to a breaking wheel. Red-hot pincers tore flesh from his body. Bones were shattered one by one. The crowd didn't look away. Some prayed, some watched carefully. Parents lifted children onto shoulders, because fear only works if it is taught early. When he was finally beheaded, his body was burned. His head was mounted on a pole. Beside it stood a wooden wolf. Not art, a warning. This is what happens when monsters are found wearing human skin. What actually survived? Modern historians don't see a werewolf. They see something worse. A probable serial killer, protected by normalcy, explained through superstition. The devil narrative wasn't ignorance. It was relief, because people didn't have language for predators. They didn't say psychopath. They didn't say compulsive violence. They said beast. And once that word existed, they stopped asking questions. The thought that should not be comforting. Peter Stumpp wasn't terrifying because people believed he was a monster. People believed in monsters because someone like Peter Stumpp lived among them. The real horror isn't medieval superstition, it's recognition. Evil didn't need magic, it didn't need claws. It worked fields, paid taxes, stood in church, and learned exactly how invisible it needed to be. This was the Werewolf of Bedburg, and this story was brought to you by The Lost Past.